So now, let's kickstart the Go Strategic Forums. There will be pivotal discussions and sharing on AI and its impact on businesses. So the opening panel of this forum will be CEO Insight on AI, Embracing Chaos and Driving Excellence, powered by the Data Literacy Association. The rapid advancement of AI technology is changing industries and reshaping business strategies globally. This panel brings together top CEOs from diverse sectors to provide their unique perspective on how AI is driving business and strategy, and the challenge that they face and their expectation for the future. And now, without any further ado, I would like to invite the following speaker on stage. So first, I would like to invite the moderators of this panel discussion on stage. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Dr. Tower Charm, founding chairman of Data Literacy Association. Let's welcome Dr. Charm. So joining Dr. Charms, we'll be having an esteemed panel of CEOs. So now let's welcome Ms. Evelyn San, CEO and Head of Banking of Hong Kong and Macau City. Welcome. And next we have Mr. Jens Peter Browner, CEO of Siemens Mobility Hong Kong. Welcome. And next we have Mr. Lawrence Lam, CEO of Prudential Hong Kong. Welcome. And finally, we have Mr. Sheldon Lee, CEO and co-founder of Buy and Share. Welcome you all. And without any further ado, I'll pass the stage to Dr. Charm. Over to you.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. So today we're going to have an exciting panel. So AI and Gen AI is so popular these days, but what the CEO really thinking about it, right? So what kind of opportunities and challenges they have been facing. I think it's very important for all of us, whether you're coming from IT, HR, finance, you want to know what CEO is thinking about it and how they're going to support your strategy. So today we're going to talk about that. So this is Dr. Charm, founding chairman of Data Literacy Association. So we aim and empower people like yourself to use data more wisely. So this is one of the examples. So without further delay, I will go run round to have our guest speakers to introduce themselves briefly, and then we'll jump into discussion. All right, Evelyn, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Charm. Thanks for having me here. I'm Evelyn San. I'm the CEO for Citibank Hong Kong and Macau. Very happy to be on this panel because AI indeed will have revolutionary potential in transforming the banking industry. And a lot of us are really excited about the impact of technology, so we'll be speaking a bit about that. I also wear another hat. I'm also on the board of the FinTech Association of Hong Kong. And I do truly believe that incumbent banks can really work hand in hand with the fintech in the whole ecosystem to really building the way forward. So we do a lot of work together on how to collaborate and how we can also invest into the future together.
Thank you. Evelyn is not just a banker, but also a very innovative banker. We have been in the fintech competition. Whatever we see fintech, probably we can see Evelyn there. We have a full support on that. So thanks for coming. So we'll talk more later on. Peter is another old friend of mine. So can you introduce yourself?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me on this esteemed panel. My name is Peter Brauner. I'm with Siemens, the head of Siemens Mobility here in Hong Kong. I'm with the company for more than 30 years, always on the tech side. Here in Hong Kong for 10 years now, working with the government and with customers on latest mobility technologies. I would say we are delivering intelligent systems for critical infrastructure. It's not only railways, it's also hospitals, it is power plants, it is whatever makes a city smart. But what I have to share with you as well, we are not in end consumer business anymore. So even if you like your Siemens dishwasher, full disclosure, it's not from Siemens anymore, it's only the label. So we are complete in business to business.
Good. Thanks, Peter. So Lawrence, you have been in the banking area, now it's in insurance, right? Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Lawrence. I take care of the Prudential Hong Kong as a CEO. Just believe it or not, right? This is my second job only. My first job in my 25 years is in the banking industry. I can see my ex-colleague here from Citi. I think, first of all, right, thanks Dr. Cham to bring Prudential today, because when we talk about insurance, right, everyone think about is actually insurance agents, right, relationship manager, man channel, delivery to the customer, but a lot of things happening in technology and AI in the insurance industry. So I think today is a very good forum for us to talk about what happens in the insurance industry on the technology, especially on the AI applications. Just share some of the good story for you. On my first day of job in Prudential, I have a chance to meet my agency leader. Because I'm a big fan of the digitization when I was in the banking industry, they asked me a question: are we going to replace me? Because I heard that you're from banking and also from digitization, right? You actually brought the bank to go through the digital transformation like a few years ago. And my answer is actually because I know this, that's why I say you need to be here. My job is actually to embrace the technology and help our frontline, help our agent to better serve our customer. So I look forward to here today to hear a lot of the good thoughts, good idea, how to actually serve our customer more better in the future.
Thank you. Look forward to it, Lawrence. When we talk about AI innovation, we could not exclude startups, right? So all the innovation coming out from startups. So we have one of the leading startups from Hong Kong, in fact, have global business today, which is Sheldon. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Cham. Thank you for inviting me to be on this panel. Buy and Ship is not like, Siemens Prudentials. We're a 10-years-old company, not that young anymore, but, not as established yet. But in the startup world, in the tech, we're very proud to, represent Hong Kong to start our business globally. We're in 12 markets. So Buy and Ship is a consumer business. We help everyone here shop globally. And the pain point that we are solving is that if we travel enough, we know that there's price difference and product availability when you are in one country. So last year we did 3 million transactions. We always ask our customers, why did you use Buy and Ship and shop globally? So half of this transaction, they're telling us that, hey, they actually saved 30% after paying for every service fee that we charge, shippings, tax, and everything. But the other half, which is more interesting, is that they're getting products that's not available locally in Hong Kong or Taiwan or Philippines. So our vision is to connect the world together so consumers can get anything, easily, just like shopping locally, making it a fair place, a market for everyone's. And in terms of AI, I had a dream of building a price comparison engine. So one click, you'll find the best deal in the world. And in the past, it's so difficult because the technological barrier is just really high. We tried many things. But since last year, we see the hope. And right now, we already have a lot of experiments that we'll share later that, soon in 1 to 2 years, we'll be able to achieve that. Thank you.
Thank you. I can see I cannot hold these guys. When they talk about how they apply technology, I can give them another hour, right? So it's so good, right? We need to have passion in terms of making use of innovation. So before that, we want to engage a little bit more with you guys to see how you think. As I start, when I talk about AI and Gen AI, it's not just helping industry. In fact, it's disrupting our industry, changing the rule of our games. So my first polling question that I prepared for you guys is how serious it is in terms of AI and Gen AI now on the horizon. How does it impact your industry particularly? And then I will ask one opinion from our speaker. Let's scan this code and then make a choice. And you can choose one choice out of those 5 and then see how serious it is in terms of impacting your industry. All right, we'll give you maybe 15 seconds. It's an easy question. Let's see how serious it is. All right, ready? See it? All right, let's, can you show the result, please? Let's see. Wow, that's unexpected. You look at this. Going. All right, I think it's over 50% intensive. No matter what industry you're coming from, I think it's the average, right? So more than 51, okay? I think the trend is just like that. So this is data-driven, right? You told us. And then let's see how our guest speaker take it. And more importantly, they are on the field, right? How AI and Gen AI is actually impacting, changing the game of your industry. Yeah, may I start with Evelyn? Yeah.
Sure. AI actually has been around in one form or another for over 70 years. It's only, I think, in November 22 when ChatGPT came out, it marked a turning point. And for us in banking, we really believe, as I mentioned, is going to have revolutionary impact because the whole sector is very data rich. And data is the raw material. We've actually just released a report, also did a polling, but with some global experts. And we found that in the banking sector, we only have maybe 3/3, 3/4 of the banks, only that number started on the journey. And 1/4 hasn't started yet. Compared to insurance companies, actually only 5% haven't really embarked on the AI journey yet. But we do believe this is going to grow very quickly. And we estimate that by 2028, the whole banking profitability could become propelled by the use of AI to 2 trillion and increasing for around 10%. So for us, it's really important that banks are looking to embrace the technology and not become the laggards, right? For those banks which are likely to be the winners are those that have the leadership, execution capabilities, AI talent, and also, of course, the tech capability. But those incumbent banks who are more agile will be the quick followers. And the laggards are going to be those who are indebted. They have tech debt, they have legacy infrastructure debt, organization debt, leadership debt. So really being able to troll through that. So for Citi, we do look at all opportunities where we can have Gen AI impact our business model more positively. We're also wary of the risk that it will bring, right? Imagine the bots will be telling you when to refinance your mortgage and told you, I've already refinanced your mortgage and I've already paid off your credit card bill. That would actually be quite nice because no consumer really want to go through all these administrative chores. However, it also can cause banks a lot of risk around legal compliance, regulatory compliance, data privacy. It can also be placing pricing pressure because the bots, AI bots the consumer use, can really be quick at comparing the pricing around that. That could also be a concern. So I think for us at Citi, we have been looking at a lot of the use cases, over hundreds and hundreds, but really finding those that are most impactful that we want to start trialing. So in a few areas that are most immediately landing ourselves to use cases would be how we deal with customers with smart queries in terms of the customer inquiries, how we do coding, co-pilot coding that is really going to be driving productivity gain and efficiency, translating kind of Java language to kind of COBOL and others. So that's also popular. We are also looking at how we can use Gen AI assistants to increase in collaboration and help with communication. And of course, we have a lot of use cases on how we summarize and produce content because Gen AI is particularly good in summarizing, in translating and extracting information. So a lot of things we can deal with it.
Right, we'll go into a use case a little bit more later on, but it's exciting to see you have more than 100 use cases already?
Hundreds.
Hundreds, wow, that's just impressive. So that you can have choices to really start from and prioritize. We'll look at it, how you prioritize as well later on. So in the Siemens, right, you're in a different industry. Would that be as serious as financial services, the impact?
Well, we are in a different industry, but the story is the same. So to us, AI is not new, actually, right? So we are using machine learning over the last, 10, 20 years. So as I said before, we are developing and running intelligent systems for mission-critical infrastructure. By now, most of the systems have already machine learning parts in it. And with that, we are able to predict pretty well the behavior of a system or of a machine, be it a power plant, a gas turbine, or a train, or a chiller plant system or something like that. So we can predict the behavior, we can say by when it will break down, so we can take action early enough, and by that we have system availability of up to 100%. So that is what machine learning is doing nowadays. Now, with Gen AI and large language models, we can put a layer on top of it. Before, machine learning was representing itself in very fancy dashboards, but only experts could read this and knew what to do next with that. No, with Gen AI, we put a layer of natural language on top of it. So suddenly the machines, they can tell you how they feel and what they need in a language that not only experts understand. And that matters because our systems, they are running for 20, 30 years sometimes. Those experts who have developed the systems are retired by now. Or we all know there's a retirement wave coming, right? And suddenly with Gen AI, we get access to this knowledge that was in experts before, or it was implicitly in this archives of documents, petabyte of data, but you could not access them. But now we can really get the data out of this implicit knowledge and make it explicit. And that is our answer to this retirement wave and how to get more knowledge to work. So this is for me one of the most important elements of Gen AI.
That's really great. I heard a joke this year with you, right? I asked a layman, right? Have you touched AI before? When did AI started? So they said that, 2 or 3 years. So they think that AI is only started 3 years ago when ChatGPT came into the world. In fact, Peter talked about it has been here for probably 60 to 70 years since Alan Turing, right? So as you can see, the generalization of AI in these 2 or 3 years is tremendous. So that's because of the natural language layer that you talk about, right? So Lawrence, you got a good job or bad job? Good job is the adoption of AI in your industry is so relatively low, so you have a big margin you can improve. The bad news is maybe that's the reason behind the adoption, right? Low adoption. So what's your view about this?
Okay, first of all, I think I think I need to put a disclaimer, right? The sequence of the panelists actually govern the length of the answer because most of the point has been covered by the first two. Okay, I think first of all, I agree with Evelyn and Peter. AI is not a new thing. So sorry, copy your answer again. It's true because actually, even though in the insurance industry, right, as I said, people always perceive that it's a very labor-intensive industry, a lot of the people, but in fact, a lot of things actually happening in the insurance industry, but not at the front, it's more on the back. And also supporting our distribution channel. I can quote some example. If you know that on the insurance side, there's a lot of the risk management, is very important for us. I'm talking about the life and death and all those, right? The medical claim. And so and then we are actually involving a lot of the data, like a retail bank, a lot of data of transactions, all the information from customer that we need actually machine learning to help us to analyze. On the underwriting piece, and also on the claim piece. Why is that so important to the customer? As I said, right, Prudential, at the end of the day, AI and technology, at the end of the day, is only tools, but the key is actually to serve our customer better. So on two examples, underwriting piece, faster analysis, more precise and more accurate underwriting process can help us to provide a better service, fast turnaround decision to our customer. That's one piece, right? And you say claim, yeah, it's also talking about turnaround, more than that. Because of the using AI machine learning, we can actually to detect some of the fault, right? A lot of nowadays you can see of the medical inflation, the fault, the claim is actually getting increased. At the end of the day, it's hurting our customer because the premium the customer pay will be much higher. So with the technology to help us to detect the fault, that can help us to actually to keep controlling the premium that the customer can pay less for their protection. That's one piece. The other piece is on the customer services. Also very similar to the FI, right? A lot of customers are being served. And at the same time, not only the customer, but also our distributor. For Prudential, we have 20,000 agent plus. And to be honest, right, to manage such a big sales team, the most difficult piece for us is a communication. Because we need to actually communicate our message, our knowledge, our information to our agent, make sure they have a consistent message and better serve our customer. You cannot imagine, right, how many pieces of contents, how many of the information we need to deliver to our customer, our agent, with the different group of people. We have the people from mainland China, we have people from the English speaking, from people from the Cantonese speaking. So how can we actually have the effective way to create the content? Now, as I said, on top of the machine learning, now it's a Gen AI helping us to actually have a better, more effective way to create content to our agent. So that's why they can get our information more easily, friendly, and timely. That is important for finance industry, especially a highly regulated business, right? Not only on the customer information and all those, also to fulfill the compliance and also the regulatory requirements. So a lot of content being created now, Gen AI help us a lot to do it even faster, timely, and more accurate.
Looks very positive, but when the next round, we'll talk about the challenges as well. So you already talked about some of the use cases, so exciting, so appealing, but I'm sure that there's a lot of challenges. We'll talk about that. So in the e-commerce side, right, Sheldon, so how do you see e-commerce with AI and without AI? What are the disruption in your industry?
Well, e-commerce is super competitive, and technology is getting more and more easy to adopt. And in the end of the day, is one keyword for me is efficiency. How can we do more with the same resources? And AI provide a lot on that. And three components that we look at: CS, customer service. I think every industry is the same. How do we provide more support with our CS team, even without training? The AI will help them, give them some reference to answer. On the other side is marketing, conversion. How do we convert more of our customers to use our service? In the past, probably we need to hire a lot of data scientists to do personalization on CRM, creating the right message to the right people. But now, even myself, not from a tech background, I can use POE, putting some in data. I can already do some tagging on our customers. I know what they want easily. In the past, it's more high level on, this is the category that they want. But because the generative AI, I can understand more on the unstructured data. We have more information about what our customers are reading, what they are buying, or even just name of the product that they bought. We can evaluate even more deeper understanding of them without, data scientists involved. Just myself, I can do it, right? This is very powerful, and hoping like smaller businesses get the same advantage that big company has, right? And in the last part, our vision is still to get the best deal around the world. So the product tagging side is very powerful for us. And because we do business in 12 markets, language is a very, very difficult part to crack in the past. Right now, one team member from Hong Kong can create localized teenagers' tone for Taiwanese content, right? Even Japanese, we've created our contents in Cantonese. We asked generative AI to create this localized teenagers' tone for Japanese customers. We have our Japanese country manager reading it. It's like, damn, this is really
Better
powerful.
than him, right? If he writes it.
Yes, so it's like, wow, it really looked like a Japanese teenager writing it. Yeah. The tone, the kind of favor. So these are the three main parts that we invest a lot into.
All right, that's good. So I think it's a quite good use case already. So maybe just go around, right, to Evelyn, back to you. So the first example use case to talk about is query. So people are asking questions about the banks. So some of the challenge we know is, you need to be responsible for all these messages you send to your customers, right? And sometimes you go to the regulator, sometimes you go to laws, right, enforcement. So how do you manage this kind of customer-facing AI, Gen AI applications in terms of risk? Yeah.
It is really important because people would have heard of many cases where, for example, a Canada airline a few years back had to actually, in a lawsuit, compensate a customer who received a wrong answer from his chatbot because the chatbot, based on actually Gen AI, actually disagreed with his own policy. and gave wrong pricing information. So we can't allow that to happen in banking. We have a lot of responsibility to ensure we are selling the right product, properly described at the right pricing to our customers. So a lot of efforts have been putting into AI governance, having a center of excellence to really look at how we can design with proper transparency, accountability, and all the AI principles we set up a long, long time ago, to a point that AI is not new. But actually, a lot of the AI innovations, not just Gen AI, has really helped the bank in many ways. Let's take compliance as an example. Transaction monitoring. We used to be coming up with a lot of alerts, taking a lot of human power to clear those false alerts. And by using AI, we have been able to reduce the fault alerts by about 700,000 a year. We were also able to use AI to help us with cyber defense, cyber protection. And we have our devices all installed with ability now to reduce the risk of kind of cyber problems for over 700, again, 700 million devices were involved. So with a lot of use cases that are out there, to your point, how do we prioritize, right? Hundreds and hundreds of ideas. We do want to keep promoting good ideas, but really need to think through the impact, the regulatory environment, and having that diligence in picking up the elephants and not just keep swatting the flies. Take up the most impactful one so that you invest into those, which is not easy. Yeah.
Right, so impact and also probably the risk that we probably evolve. How about money? Would that be something, if it's good impact and less risk, then investment is okay?
You're so right, because a lot of the banks, as our report showed, are investing a lot of dollars into technology, but only a tiny amount so far has gone into AI. But I think this is going to grow substantially.
Okay, good news for the people who are selling AI idea, right? So go to Evelyn. So Peter, how do you see it? When you're applying AI, Gen AI in your organization, what are the top challenges you see?
Well, I always say the technology is there. So it's not a technology challenge. And we partner with Microsoft on a global level, corporate level. So what we try to introduce now is what we call the industrial co-pilot. You all know co-pilot from your private experience, but we are taking this to an industrial level. And what does that mean? If we are using AI, Gen AI, to generate code, to configure systems automatically, to analyze data from systems, of course, they must be accurate. They cannot hallucinate, right? So there are a lot of risks coming with AI that we need to well understand before we apply AI to live systems. So, and as I say, technology is there in principle. So we are focusing more on three other things. First is people. So we have very, very good domain experts. They know everything about the operations, about their systems, about the environment. And now they need to learn how to use AI to bring this entire industry or the systems to the next level. There are a lot of productivity gains that we see. So not only from analyzing systems, but also the entire value chain. So we are working with a lot of documents, regulations, with third parties who are approving our systems. So there are big gains that we expect from Gen AI. But on the other hand, as well, we need to really control how that is being done in a way that we can really deliver this. So just recently, there was in Europe, we are a European-based company, right? The European Union, they introduced the AI Act, which is a set of rules how to develop responsible AI, and they classify this into different risk classes, from unacceptable risk, where no AI is allowed, to high risk, where AI can be deployed if it is developed in a responsible way. So there's a set of rules for this risk class where we belong to, and we now implement this so that we can deploy systems which having AI embedded, but in a responsible way. So this is the second part. And the third part is networking. No single company, I think, can do all of this AI itself. So we are partnering not only with Microsoft, but also with NVIDIA for digital twins, so global corporate strategy. And then on the regional level here in Hong Kong, I'm working with the government and with our key customers to then really focus on what matters, the use cases. So we are inviting research institutes, academia, startups, along our supply chain together with the customers. We are co-creating solutions to really identify the hotspots. And then we take it from there.
Peter, you know, one of the big reasons why I have you here, besides we are friends, because you are also representing European companies here. So there's a US company, Europe company, Hong Kong company, and Hong Kong startup as well. So one follow-up question about the AI Act, right? This is a pioneer in the world, how we govern AI, right? And it doesn't happen in this part of the world yet. So how do you balance innovation and all these AI governance, right? As a European company, you have to follow, right? So how do you don't fall, if you fall behind innovation, you're behind the competition, right? So how do you see?
Well, it is a race, that is true. And I mean, we all look at China versus America, and Europe is somewhere in between and maybe a little bit behind what the degree of innovation is, if that is concerned. On the other hand, I have to say, I'm happy with my European background and that they take the moment to think of what are we doing here and where is it leading us to. So responsible AI, or we can call it ethical AI, that is something which I believe matters for societies, for humanity at the end. And even if this is not the hottest topic here in Asia, I get a lot of questions now, what are you doing there and what can we learn from it? So I believe at the end it will be beneficial for us, even if we are not the fastest developers, but in the end we have a very good foundation to apply this to the world.
Lawrence, how do you see the challenge, right? So
I think talk about of the governance and the risk. I think I can cover one area is on the talent. At the end of the day, right, the people need to be. First of all, I will say that today our topic is AI. A few years ago we talked about open API. A few years ago we talked about the app. Talk about even though like 1,000 years ago, right, the people talk about the technology of using fire, using the iron or whatever. So technology transformation actually not happening on the past 10 years, right? It actually passed for like 1,000 years already. But it's actually one thing really common is that the technology runs faster than the people. Okay, so I think the challenge for us is actually how can we train up our talent to be compatible. And I think one more thing is even more important is even though they have the knowledge, and then once the people have the knowledge, the second thing is always the business infrastructure cannot like up to the standard of the technology. I quote a very simple example, just a very simple example. This is actually an experiment we're doing. We are, as I mentioned about there's an agency force, right? We're 20,000 agency force. So in order to serve the customer, there's so many things to remember. Product information, internal guidelines, regulatory guidelines, the process roadmap, all this, right? Workflow. There's a lot of information they need to remember. That's why we have a search engine for them, right. Okay? For them to actually search the information that if they cannot remember the question, they can actually search the information like Google, get the information and serve the customer. In the past, we're using really like rule-based approach. Now we actually experience using the Gen AI, so they ask the information and then it come up. It's very good. The experiment coming up is actually 4 times faster than they're using the traditional search engine to find the information. But I think one learning from us is actually, in order to build the technology, right, the data quality is important. When we talk about data quality, it's not only talking about is like customer transaction data. The internal documents, all the knowledge bases, is actually to be as a very user-friendly for the search engine to do so, the AI, right? Mm-hmm. So how can we do this? Because in the past, right, all the documents are all random walk, right, free flow. I like to using this style, I don't use that style. That is not actually not helping to have a better accuracy when you're doing the AI, right? So this is something we need to build into our organization. How can we make them more like the document user-friendly to the AI? This is one of the very, very small examples of how can you make your business platform actually catch up the talent, catch up the technology. So this is a challenge.
Yeah, talent is one thing. We will talk more about this. But the second one I like it is the data quality. You know, as old as I, when 30 years ago I studied in United States computer science, we already learned about this. Garbage in and garbage out. It still applies in AI and Gen AI world, right? So internal data, it might not be clean as you thought when you're applying AI. Not needless to say, the external data, when we use LLM, is a lot of external data. You don't know how good is the quality. So there's a lot of challenge in terms of data quality level that we need to overcome. And at the company, they are doing good in knowledge management. Actually, we may be beneficial on that because you already gone through all this data quality and even rank the content, the value of the content. So if you have a good infrastructure, business infrastructure, in terms of knowledge management, you are better off in terms of making use of AI and Gen AI, right? So Sheldon, how do you see the challenge?
Well, for us, I think there are two main challenges.
Yep.
As a startup, we have limited resources, so everything that we do, we need to.
I'm sure
right.
that Evelyn can talk to you, loan and investment, no problem.
Thanks for promoting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to shorten our learning curve, right? And in order to do that, we work with a lot of partners like AWS, Microsoft, trying to leverage their resources, their lessons learned from other people, so we don't have to repeat the mistakes or the lessons that someone have already done, and having advisors, professors supporting us. This is how we deal with it. But resources is always a limitation for us. There are talents, even though they're limited, but it's the biggest cost for a company like us. And the second one is how do we make sure that our data is not exposed? Because if we use generative AI, we're pretty much throwing it into the ocean and who knows where it goes to. And breaking it down into many different processes and process it partially and then use our own model, train our own model to process it is how we protect it. But we don't want all our data to go out to the ocean because it's the most valuable asset that we have.
Sure. So that's a good one. So my second question is follow-up. Maybe a good question for Evelyn and Lawrence. You have so many staff, employees, right? So on one hand, we are making use of AI, productivity, efficiency, whatever you name it, right? But at the end of the day, like Lawrence said, are you going to fire me, right? So how can I secure my job? So how do you deal with this problem, Evelyn?
I think many people have said this line before, that AI is not going to take your job, but people who can understand and use AI are going to take your job. So you really need to make sure that you are following what's happening out there and actually upskill oneself. So we've also got a report to look at what are the skill sets that machines cannot replace. So we did, again, a very broad survey with government officials, with academics, with HR experts, and they come up with around 68% believing that the most important skill set that the machines cannot replace, the durable human skills we call it, is communications. Then it's followed by 58% on empathy, emotional intelligence. All these skills that people used to think are soft skills and not technical skills will become much more important. We also have a lot of our staff very eager to learn about, yes, the basics of the technology, how it works, but again, what is going to be more important is the jobs will change. The mix of jobs will change. For example, there will be a need for more AI supervisors, AI compliance officers, and in fact, from I think year 2000 to year 2023, the numbers of AI compliance officers, or actually compliance officers, have grown more than 3 times in the States. So for us, it's really important to equip our staff. We've just launched our digital asset training that I launched for all city staff in Hong Kong. But we also need to change our mindset to really refocus on the leadership skill, to allow for experiments. So the experimental culture is also very important.
Yeah, so more and more like banks would be like a tech company, right? All this mindset.
Yeah, some people also call the banks are technology companies that are in financial services.
Right. So, but still, you are very important. But as long as you can adopt that culture, I think it's still a lot miles to go. Lawrence, you have a lot of employees as well, right? So are you going to fire them?
That's actually already included in my introduction, right? The first day of my work, actually the agency said I'm going to replace me, right? So I not say no because I said because I work in the banking on the digital transformation. My answer is very, very evident proven. He said your job is still there, right? Don't worry, okay? Because I've been in digitization, I have been in banking, also in the insurance, right? I think very similar to Evelyn. At the end of the day, it's not. First of all, I want to say, just you feel this actually happening. I'm a better, like, more mature person, right? I've been working for 30 years almost. I remember actually at the beginning of my career, actually I'm using projector and slide, right, to do presentation. Nowadays, and I found that, using PowerPoint, maybe my life is much easier, but I found that it's even more busier than before. So technology doesn't mean to kill your job. Sometimes you make it more busier sometimes, right? So I think the key is not actually to replace the people, but actually embrace helping our staff and talent to actually do the job better. But I think one thing is actually very important, as Evelyn said, is a change of the skill set. I also can quote two examples in the insurance industry. First, on the actuarial side, in the past we talk about calculation, but now modeling is also very important. How can using data, how can do the programming, also is very important. That's a skill set change. That's the reason why in the insurance industry, that's why I said you're not very far behind actually with a lot of things. We are actually talking to the academic, right, to universities in terms of the actuarial program. Should we introduce some of the factor to actually like embed the future compatible actuarial, right, with the AI and also the model talent. The other part is on the customer service. In the past, maybe the customer service manager, the main job is the people management, but now maybe it's actually how to actually manage a data scientist, look into the data, how to actually look into the sentimental score, how to actually manage our customer behavior. I think at the end of the day, this job's still there, but the skill set change. A lot of education, mindset changes, but most importantly, I think management need to be more forward-looking, the skill set change of the job, so helping our talent to get prepared when the technology comes.
If I may just add also, right, the partnership with the tech companies are very important because banks are not going to be tech companies themselves, to be honest. So understanding what are out there that tools can be adopted to help us run the bank in a more safe and sound manner and improving the customer experience. The newer technologies like explainable AI and some of the deep fakes detection technologies are very popular amongst banks now. They're all looking at how can you explain the logic behind the model to deal with the regulators. So explainable AI is one growth area. But again, people will say there are much more frauds around with deep fakes. Again, being able to adopt technology beyond what you develop yourself, but partner with the techs out there is really important.
Very good. So if you're working for banking industry and insurance business, now you have a peace of mind. They're not going to fire you, right? They're only retrain you. So it's good, right? So both CEO. Good. So the next one is, I think we still, I think probably we have 5 minutes to go. So another thing we can do, right? So we touch on that a little bit. But still, when we face the reality, the economy is not that good. And when you look at investment, as a CEO, you have to make a choice, right, in terms of investment. So how do you justify? It could be very expensive. Building all these AI and Gen AI, hiring all these data scientists, AI specialists, even you work with the top vendors, it's going to be very expensive. So how do you justify your investment? Right, maybe Peter, you can try, right?
Yes, thank you. That is, of course, after whatever 10 years of digitalization, now the CFOs, they are asking, what is this all good for, right? So we are moving more from, in previous years, we were working on proof of concept. So we put new technology into the field, we then explored the benefits of it, and we learned a lot from that. Now, technology is there, and everybody is asking, show me the money. And now we are talking more about proof of value. So what we do now with our key customers, we tell them, look, we see a lot of benefits there, and we are ready now to define a set of KPIs where we are able to measure the benefits from AI against. So, and we do this on small scale with maybe some selected systems or use cases, and then we prove the value, really in money terms, before we take it then to big scale and to roll it out into the entire operations or even cross-sector into other industries. And we want to be fast, so this is why we do this in a proof of value manner, to learn fast, to improve fast, and to lead then the game by that. But it's completely value-driven. It's also changing business models, by the way.
That's good. So it takes some sort of the culture change as well, right, in terms of that. But Sheldon, you touched that a little bit earlier. Startup is lack of resources, right? So, but AI could spend you a lot of money. So how do you make this call?
Well, we start with measuring everything because only if we measure it, we can manage it and improve it. And by that, we know everything that we do, we see a result. So we do a lot of A/B testing. A/B testing, try this, try that. And if we see success, we double down on it. So this is the first principle that we have is measuring everything. And the outcome is two. One is saving costs, on operation efficiencies. If we implement this, how much work can be emphasized by our team. The other one is conversion, right? And this heavily is on user journey. How do we improve the user journey? How does it contribute to our mission? How do we give customers more choices, best price in the world, and easy experience? And if that fits into these three, we measure the conversion, and that's justify our investment.
Very good. I think a lot of audience learn from it because it's a challenge, right? The top line, you're not making a lot more business these days, but still you have a pressure to add on AI and Gen AI in. So it's very difficult call, but I think both of you give some advices. Because of time, we go to the last question. I think we still have some time. So let's go for the second polling question there, because we still have a little bit time. Can you pull out the second? I would like to see, right? You see how they justify the investment. This question is more about, how about yourself? In the next 3 to 5 years, we're looking forward. How much will you invest in AI? Not exact amount, but just relatively intensity. So how much you're going to invest in AI in the next 3 to 5 years, right? That's the question. And you have 5 choices. If you choose the first choices, you have no hope. That means it's no plan to invest. Don't choose that one. Otherwise, you will run out of jobs, and Hong Kong might be a little bit problem, right? So let's see. Okay, so it's minimum, moderate, healthy, and let's see. Moderate, heavy, all in, 9%. I think moderate would go to 50%. That's good. That's good. And it's from the Hong Kong perspective. We have, many of you, will spend 50% more from today on AI and Gen AI. That is on the right track. Even you are from different industry. And 34% is heavy. Wow, it's impressive. Close to 35. All in, some all in as well. And minimums and low plan is really minimum. That's good. So it's endorsed. This is very important to invest and how we prioritize and justify it. So let's go to the last question to wrap it up, which is looking forward. So AI and Gen AI, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. LLM version 100, I don't know what it is. So it could be crazy, right, in the next few years. So how do you, as a CEO, how do you plan for this? Right, in the next 3 to 5 years, the disruption will be even higher. Maybe Google become a bank, maybe Google become a insurance company and compete with you, I don't know, right? So how do you tackle and how do you plan and get ready for the next 3 to 5 years? Evelyn?
As I say, AI has been used by banks for many, many years. But Gen AI is something that we are looking to make sure everywhere in the bank that we need to use Gen AI, we will invest into those areas. But I actually think that next big thing, the next big innovation that is going to impact the banking industry would be non-human customers. Non-human AI-powered bots and agents,
right.
They will be able, as I mentioned just now briefly, to be going through all the different products and then do the investments for you,
Absolutely.
refinancing mortgage for you. And how would banks deal with that? And to basically win over those non-human customers is going to be super interesting. So I would like to make sure that we're watching in that space.
That's very true. I think for all of you, you're so fortunate to be here to learn from all these CEO, right? This is very important. AI is our future customer. So when you're selling a product to a human being, they might check something, but they are not as smart as AI. So if I am a customer, I will hire AI and then check it out with Citibank, right? And then they deal with it and check everything, right? So whatever product you're selling, you're dealing with an AI. So that's why it's pushing you back to be ready for that,
It's
right?
an AI arm race. We have no choice but to dive into that.
Yeah, so that is very challenging in the next 3 to 5 years. Peter?
Well, I would say over the next 3 to 5 years, we will see, we are expecting a much better user experience with the systems that we are providing, because those systems, they will be more telling, not only to experts, but also to more like laymen who need to understand what this is about. So second, I believe from a product point of view, we will see more autonomous systems. I'm from the transport sector, so you all know autonomous cars, but also this will be autonomous trains, buses, minibuses. So there are many more of those systems expected. From a corporate point of view, I would say we see massive productivity gains along the entire value chain. And to deal with this, also our strategy to deal with this, I mentioned this before, we take a people-centric approach because we have all of this domain knowledge. I mean, we are not like Microsoft coming from the IT. We are coming from the OT, from the operation technology part. And we are blending in now our domain knowledge, which is really our asset, together with these AI capabilities. So this will lead us to the future. We claim that we are leading this Industry 4.0 transformation. So we were taking the systems and the people to the next level. And we do this in a very risk-aware approach. I was talking about AI risk before, and that we need to manage them along the rules. And finally, this is all about partnership and networking. And so the invitation stands to research, to academia, to startups, to work with us on this challenge. Nobody can do this alone, and for that we created an innovation business platform. We call this Accelerator. You can say it's an IT platform, but actually you can also build business models on top of it, and it is connecting in an open and transparent way systems from different domains into one, let's say, smart city solution, I hope, and that is what motivates us to drive this every day, and I hope together with many others. Yep.
Ecosystem, right? Co-creation. Yeah, good, thank you. Lawrence?
Okay, so I'm not going to paint a very bright and picture first. Okay, I would like to using relationship as a analogy for the technology. It's go through the API, digital assets, a lot of things. Right? What I see in the past years is it's always go through this kind of cycle. Very exciting, right? Everything will be there, and then rationalization, and at the end of the day, is sustainable business model. So what I see the AI now in the future, 3 years and 5 years, will actually like very similar to the other technology as well. There will be a optimization between people and the AI.
Okay.
But no matter what the technology, commercial time for the Prudential. Prudential, there's a very good company philosophy is listening, understanding, and delivering. At the end of the day, company need the most important piece is technology is a tool, right? The objective is to serve our customer better. So I may just quote a simple example on listening. In the future, maybe we just not only talking to the customer face to face, but through the data we understand and listen to the customer more. On the delivering side, right, it's not only using people, while using the technology to actually serve our customer more convenience, but the people can also give it a factor for the passion, emotion, and especially for insurance, it's a very meaningful industry for peace in mind for the people. So I think I will see the optimization, this collaboration happening in the coming 3 to 5 years, and at the end of the day is to serve our customer for every life, for every future.
Listening, communicating, and
Listening,
delivering.
understanding, delivering.
Understanding. Listening,
In Chinese,
understanding.
用心聆聽實現你心, okay?
Yes, you got it. Yeah, that's nice. That's Sheldon. Next 3 to 5 years, right? What do you see, and how do you prepare for that?
First is to work with many partners to keep learning and shorten the learning curve. Secondly, create our own advantage with our own data. How do we have our special or exclusive use case because of our own, use state of our own data?
All right, I think there's a pretty good wrap up. So AI is our customers, ecosystem. Let's try listening, understanding, and delivering, right? I learned it. And last but not least is data, right? You have to own your own data, capture your own data, and work with the ecosystem. So that pretty much wrap up our today's panel. So let's give a big round of applause to our guest speaker. Thank you so much. Before you go, I learned from my fan page, Anson. Anson Bailey is what? It's a selfie. So let's take a selfie on the stage, right? So it's really good. Let's see. For 1 second. So he's actually better than me, but I think it will be good. Ah, nice.
All right, so our guest on stage.
Thank you so
Please
much.
kindly remain on stage and let's have one more photo, but this time with our official photographer. Okay, so make sure that the pictures is perfect. All right, so maybe we can stand in front of the block and okay. Please look at our official photographer. 我哋影咗張相之後再請人 ，OK？ 好，先望望我哋大會攝影師先。Please look at our official photographer in the center. And please remain on stage. And now I would like to invite Ms. Christine Lee. Please come up on stage to present the certificates of appreciations to our speakers on stage. Thank you so much, our moderators and panelists, for their amazing insight, giving us more ideas about the advancements of AI technology and how it changed industry and reshaping business strategies globally. So we will have a photo after presenting all the certificates. Okay? All right, so please look at our official photographer for one more photos. All right, please kindly remain on stage and we're gonna have a good photo afterwards. And next, please present to Mr. Lawrence Lam. And finally, please present to Mr. Sheldon Lee. And now can I please have Kusim please have a good photos with all of our speakers on stage? And let's have one more photo together. All right, so our guests on stage, please look at our official photographer for a photos. All right, thank you so much, our guests. Please kindly exit the stage and be seated off stage. Thank you very much.